Well, he's hot off of the Al Miller Memorial victory at the Stockton Dirt Track during Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be talking to Dylan Wilson, a part of the Friesen Performance IMCA Northern Sport Mod ranks, about his origins in racing, starting off in the hobby stocks. Well, first he was a pit guy, and then he went into hobby stocks, then Sunoco IMCA stock cars, and eventually in the sport mods. Here to tell us about his racing career and his incredible 2024 season. That is coming up next on Beyond the Flags podcast. But before we get to the interview, make sure wherever you're listening or watching from, you hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Well, he represents Bakersfield, California. He pilots the Friesen Performance IMCA Northern Sport Mod number 80D. We're talking with Dylan Wilson. Dylan, great to have you on here. I'm really excited for this interview.
Thank you for having me, Ben. I appreciate it. It's always nice to get to talk to somebody about racing.
Well, yeah, no doubt. It's always a good day.
Yeah. I always talk to people that don't usually care about racing, but it's nice to talk to somebody that is interested in racing.
Hey, you never know. Some of those conversations, right? For every 10 conversations you have, maybe 9 of them, people are like, oh, I don't know what that means. That's okay. Maybe one of them will be like, that kind of sounds interesting. Maybe I should head to the racetrack.
Yep, and that's the point. They always sound a little bit interested, try to get them to come out and see a race or two.
There you go. Small victories, right?
Exactly.
Well, talking about you, 2024, you guys have been pretty consistent and have some really good runs, and picking up a big win a couple weeks ago, closing out the month of May at the Stockton Dirt Track with the Al Miller Memorial. $2,000 payday. I mean, nothing much to complain about for 2024, I would wager from my vantage point.
Yeah, I mean, I crossed the line second, so I was very happy with the second place finish. And then probably about 30 minutes after the race, we were all loaded up, ready to go home, and somebody came over and said, hey, I think Fred got docked 2 spots, so that would make you the winner. And then that turned into about a 45-minute ordeal trying to figure out if that was actually the case or not. And unfortunately for Fred, it was, and good for us. The second place check going to a first place check, that was a nice little pay bump. So that definitely helped pay for the damages that I incurred on Saturday. So it's nice, and it's my first IMCA points paying win. But I'd still like to get one, the legit way, crossing the line first would be a really special deal in my sport mod career so far.
Well, and it was an entertaining race to watch and see because, you had Fred out there, but he had to work for the win and cross the line first. But you had a really good battle going on with Tyler Bannister. And if anybody knows anything about sport mod racing, and again, this is spoiler alert, this is an education portion here. Tyler Bannister, he's a tough cat to beat or stay ahead of. Yeah,
no, I saw I battled with Fred. Fred drove around my outside there pretty early. I was running the bottom right behind, I think it was Jason Wright Jr. And Fred just zoomed right around both of us. And then he was kind of committed to the top there for a while, and I think both me and Jason kind of got the bottom rolling there, and we started reeling him in lap traffic. And then Fred kind of found the bottom again, and then once he found the bottom, it was pretty much over for the rest of us. So I couldn't. Tyler made the top work really well. It was just really, really rough up there, so I don't want to tear myself up there. So I just kind of stayed on the bottom. And once I saw Tyler stick a nose to my outside, I was like, all right, time to go to protect this second place spot. And then we were able to hold on to second, and thankfully we did, because that ended up being for the win.
Well, and how tough, or was it stressful at all? Here you're going to Stockton Dirt Track, which doesn't have normally sanctioned races there, and it's, first of all, it's recently reconfigured from a 3/8, and it's shrunken down to a quarter mile with only a handful of races, still kind of in that new phase. Was that a tough adaptation to that new configuration of that racetrack, or did you feel like it didn't take many adjustments for you to really get dialed in?
Yeah, I don't really travel around. I mean, I've been to a lot of tracks in California, but as far as the way Stockton's shaped, I don't think we really have anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know what to expect. I watched the sprint car race the Sunday prior to when we raced, and I was starting to second guess what gear I was planning on running, and it was really rough for the sprint cars, so I thought it was going to be even rougher for our cars because it's heavier. And actually, I thought they did a decent job. I mean, I was only the third race on the track since they reconfigured it. It definitely had some character, but nothing like it had been the first 2 weeks, which means they're making a lot of progress. And I was actually really happy I went up there because all week I was kind of doubting if I should go or not. And then we ended up going kind of last minute. And yeah, I'm glad I did now.
It's always interesting to watch drivers race at a track for the first time because, you know, there's a learning curve and there's that, you know, tipping the toe in the water, so to speak. And I remember, you know, the first sprint car race they had there for Asparagus Cup, like back in April, it was so interesting to see because for me, it was the first time in a long time of guys just no one had experience. They hadn't even had a hot lap session or a test session there. And you just get to see how adaptable drivers are. I mean, that's the name of the game for dirt track racing is you can even race the same track if you want, like in your local area or just one specific track. And more times than not, you may get, you know, similar circumstances as far as track conditions go, especially like in the summertime. But, you know, for the most part, like when the weather's kind of wacky and stuff, you have to have like 7 different game plans, a plan A, B, C, D, all the way to sometimes maybe double G.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, watching on TV, I thought maybe, you know, with the lack of banking and stuff, that the gear would have been fine. And then it looked like they added banking, and I heard they were going to add more banking. So I was just kind of really stressing that whole week for sure. But for it to end up being a really big race and kind of being my first points paying race, I got my first win in a Black Friday race of last year in the sport mod. That was my first win, but it wasn't during the points year. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of the first one that really meant something, you know. And then, like I said, I'm still waiting for that legit one where I cross the line first and get to celebrate with all my friends and family and stuff in victory lane. But right now, I'll take that one and you know, keep pushing for the next one.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. November 24th of last year at Merced Speedway for the Black Friday race, and to accomplish that, and then, you know, we slide over to 2024. Predominantly racing, you know, in your hometown, Bakersfield, for Bakersfield Speedway. You guys haven't finished outside of the top 10 so far this year, so whatever was working late last year is kind of rolling over and still riding that high tide.
Yeah, we bought a new chassis this year, so I just I'm very stubborn. I like to do everything myself. I don't like to ask for help. I like to trial and error everything, so trying to figure out what the new chassis likes versus the Harris we were running last year is really different because the Harris likes something and the Victory Circle I have now doesn't really care for those changes. So just trying to rethink everything I knew from last year and trying to dial in a solid baseline, which Saturday we were pretty good in Bakersfield. Ended up getting second place guy spun out, and we ended up Brett, when he spun out, I got into him and it killed the right front of the car. So, I mean, we've been in position to have better runs. I know the finishes, you know, they're solid top 10s, but they could probably be better based on raw speed. But it's just a learning game right now. Because I think we're only 5 races into the year so far, and I'm probably going to put another 5 races in over the next 6 weeks, I think. So, we got a lot of racing that's coming up to try and get better.
For sure. Well, let's dig into you and your racing history. When for you, well, I guess what was the beginning for you when you were first around racing or seeing racing?
Well, with my father, I used to go to the track. We'd go every once in a while. We weren't big on like, you know, we got to be at the track every Saturday. But I remember going as a kid a lot to the same track I race now, Bakersfield Speedway. And then about, it might have been 2007, I started going out to the track with some friends and pretty much got hooked from then and would help them out in the pits forever. And then I went and joined the military in 2010, but I would still travel home on the weekends because I was close enough to home and help them in the pits still and stuff. And lived in Vegas while I was in the military, moved back to Bakersfield, California. And I bought my first car in 2019. That was a hobby stock. I went and picked it up Saturday morning, brought it home, changed the oil, went out and won that night from the back. That was probably the peak of my racing career, was winning the first night out in a brand new car
Mm-hmm.
that I just bought. And so I was like, oh, I guess it's all downhill from here. And then I ended up winning my second race in the car, and then went on to race a bunch of big races in the hobby stock. I was the hobby stock for, I believe, 4 years. I won the two 5,000 to win races up north, back-to-back years. So that was, pretty exciting. And then just kind of, I was a leaf spring car. You can't really do a whole lot. I'm very hands-on. I like to change things. I like to figure out how things work. So I gave up the hobby stock, sold it, bought the sport mod, and then now I've just been trying to kind of do the same thing I do with the hobby, learn everything about it, be my own crew chief, stuff like that. Figure out what makes it go fast, and all while trying not to spend too much money.
Sure. And there was a couple times where you ran with the Sunoco IMCA stock cars for just a little bit, right?
Oh yeah. So I got fortunate enough, the family that I was helping, one of my best friends, he builds his own chassis, his own stock cars. He let me race it a couple times. I think I finished. It's been a minute. Sorry. I've finished second a couple times. I think maybe a fourth in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That was a pretty exciting time too. First night in the stock car, I think I finished second at a pretty big race, and in a home built car. So that was all pretty exciting. But yeah, I've finished second a lot in IMCA competition so
Mm-hmm.
far for my short career. Just need to start rattling off some wins, I think.
Yeah. So was that, I'm trying to think, was that the Johnson family?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be the Johnson family.
Okay. There's like a bunch, like there's Steven and then there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah. So,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. No, I remember, I mean, they, cause they're the first families of stock car racing that I can remember for when it comes to like Bakersfield areas, you've got the Johnsons, and then you've got kind of the Dotson Diaz kind of connection there.
Yeah, and then the Dolphins. I don't think they have too many stock cars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really race them if they do. Diaz, I think, still has his. But yeah, Steven still has his stock car. He'll be racing it this weekend in Tulare. But like Nicholas and Cody's in Iowa, they all pretty much gave up on their stock car stuff. Mm-hmm. They're all back to hobbies now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, definitely interesting. And then when you made the kind of switch there from hobbies to like the full blown IMCA stock car, what was that experience like? Or I guess going from the hobbies to the sport mods, how much of an adjustment was that for you as a driver? Was it like, holy smokes, I feel like I'm at square one and I need to take things slow? Or was there a lot of familiarity?
There was nothing like it. The sport mod blew me away. I just wanted to turn laps all by myself. I was having so much fun just driving the car without racing around other cars. But unfortunately, the Harrison I got it wasn't the most well set up car, so it was super tight. I kept bottoming out the right front. The first night out in the car was miserable, but when I could get it to steer, oh, it was great. I was having so much fun and just kept tweaking on it until I finally got it to where I liked it. And then we ran into a lot of bad luck my first sport mod year. We got caught up in. Man, if somebody was wrecking, I felt like it was always right in front of me. So yeah. The first year in sport mods I like to forget it as quickly as possible. But the second year is going by a lot faster, and that hobby was a leaf spring car, so there's not much movement. The left rear doesn't hike up, nothing like that. Very flat. So when I first drove the stock car, that was a big change, and then the sport mod is like double what the stock car is as far as like suspension movement, left rear going up, right front going down.
Yeah,
it just it's so much fun.
Oh, no doubt. I was going to say, like, with just, like, the limitations from the leaf spring car, and then here you have, like, all sorts of bar adjustments and things that you can do with the sport mod. Again, a lot to learn, right? It's like we're reading a different language a little bit. Like, it's a part of the same family of languages, but it's got a little bit of a different accent.
Exactly. Yeah. It's you have to forget everything you think you know and just completely trial and error everything. Be like, okay, I now know what that does whenever I change this and that. And it's just a different world. It's taken me a lot longer than I'd like to get up to speed, but it'll pay off once I get it all dialed in and figure out what the car likes and what I like from the car. I think we'll be set maybe by the end of this year or next year for sure.
Are you looking to find that adrenaline rush, but you can't because you're not at the racetrack? Well, check out the IMCA TV Replay subscription library to have access to thousands of hours of racing for just $24.99 a month. Relive all the moments of the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway, the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Dacotah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona, Florida's Clash on the Coast, and dozens of Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program racetracks from across the nation, as well as the IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast. Plus, 25% of that $24.99 monthly fee goes towards the Drivers Point Fund and is a great way to help out your local racers. In 2023, over $97,000 was paid out to IMCA drivers directly at over 50 racetracks across the country. Please note that live broadcasts are not part of the replay subscription. That's IMCA TV. IMCA TV, where America comes to watch racing. Well, something I always I like to ask drivers is the origin of their numbers. And for you, 80D, 80 letter D, what's the story with that one?
That one just comes from a running joke from my dad. He used to always joke that I would be that number. My brother would be 80 HD, and he just kind of was a joke. My brother he doesn't race, but I do, so I just kind of stuck that number on there the first night out. When I bought the hobby stock that night, I didn't have stickers to put on the car numbers. I was just going to run the guys who had it for me numbers. They're like, no. So they took the numbers off and they put duct tape numbers on there. And it looked so goofy in Victory Lane that first night, but we just ran with it. And, yeah, I mean, it was a crazy night, but that number just kind of stuck. I just like, I like quirky things like that. Like this year, I'm running a Kool-Aid themed car, and people, especially kids, seem to love it. So I just, the number, the themed wraps, everything. I just like to keep it a little bit lighthearted and fun.
Yeah. Oh man, the Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid man thing that brings back some memories.
Yeah. So that's a long running thing for me from sim racing, like iRacing and stuff like that. I've always busted out a Kool-Aid car every once in a while in iRacing, and so many people know me from that side of it. So I was like, let's bring it to life. I think the kids will really like it.
Sure.
It's been a big hit, it's just, I like to have a lot of fun with it. I take my racing very serious, and but I like to keep things like that, things that kids can enjoy, stuff like that. I like to keep it all lighthearted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the younger viewers and younger listeners who don't know who exactly the Kool-Aid Man is, YouTube it. It's this big picture with the red smiley face, and then he just blows through brick walls, and he doesn't spill anything, or like he keeps all the ice cubes in the picture. So,
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask this at the end of the interview, but man, like that's a marketable thing that you got going on there. I hope that you're like got something in the works where you got like T-shirts or hero cards or something that people can get.
The thought process was definitely right there with you, but we emailed Kraft Heinz hoping to get the approval to use their their logo.
Sure.
Because I would love to sell shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could do it for free, but then you get into that legal thing where you can't profit off somebody else's trademark. So we're going to kind of leave that one alone. I don't want to play with fire. So
waiting for the legal response back. So hey, if you hit a snag, my girlfriend is a lawyer. So so yeah.
Well, keep that in mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe you could just have the smiley face be upside down or something. It's like, hey, that's not trademark infringement. That's these.
Yeah, kind of something to keep in mind. We looked into it. They have 250 patents on just the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh man,
the like cartoon or the his face. Yeah, alone, and I don't want to look through all 250 and try to
Yeah.
find the one that they didn't think of. So
Sure.
we're just going to kind of leave it alone. I would love to, trust me, but I'm too scared that somebody's going to end up, the wrong person's going to end up seeing it, and then we're going to end up with a letter in the mail. It's not anything I want to deal with.
Exactly. Then
So.
you'll be friends for life with that company financially. So yeah. No,
we'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I know, like you said, you've ran a lot of tracks in, California, kind of stick to the Central Valley for the most part. But I mean, IMCA TV Winter Nationals, has that been something that maybe has been coming across the pipeline to try and shake things down in the wintertime? Or, maybe if it all lines up, the stars align for the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's and Boone?
Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about it, and I keep saying next year. Like, we're going to go to Kossuth this year. It just didn't work out with the money-wise. Next year, we're planning on going to Kossuth, but like I said, I've been planning to go to Kossuth 2 years in a row now.
Sure.
I actually signed up this year to go, and then it was just kind of a last-minute thing to not go. And but yeah, I wanted to go to Boone this year, same thing, but it's just not going to work out. And then one of these years, we're going to make it's just. Every time we start planning for it, fuel prices go way up, and it just doesn't make too much sense financially right now. It's pretty hard just to get by and race, at a local level.
Yeah, that's understandable, and you want to do it right, correct? I mean, you're not there just to like mess about. You're out there to learn and to get laps and to go up against different competition, but you don't want to do that like eating bird seed and this highly inflated ramen prices we got around here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like I want to be, I don't want to be, I'm not expecting to go be a winning car, but I want to be as competitive as I can be. So I want new tires on the car, stuff like that,
Yeah.
So it's a lot at once, especially for like a 2-week race. Like I thought maybe the first time we go, we'll just go for the one of the weeks and get a feel for it, feel like, and then come back. With a better plan, for the next years after. But I definitely want to go to Super Nationals, not only to race, but I've heard the atmosphere there is just absolutely incredible. So,
yeah, it's
I want to go.
It's indescribable. Like I could tell you all the things about it, and I tell people all the things about it, but like really, I don't feel like I do it justice because it's like, for me, it's like Disneyland or like going to the Indy 500. Well, what's that like? Would I like it? It's like, you have to go. You have to go to whether, I can sell you everything you want to hear, but really it comes down to like, you've got to experience it yourself.
Yeah. It's, we had some friends go last year and they were just like, you have to go. I know, I've been trying to go for years.
Sure.
But I think we might go out. We might just fly in, watch, for maybe just like a Wednesday through Saturday type deal. Just go catch the racing, catch the atmosphere, see what it's all about, and then, yeah, like I said, if I could get a spot in somebody's trailer that's going, or stacker or hauler, and help pay for fuel, I would definitely do that. But
yeah,
I'm not sure my truck and trailer will make it it all the way there and back. So I don't want chances.
Hey, you never know who's listening, right? They may be like, well, hey, how much money are you talking about? Or this is what the petrol cost is going to be. So
for sure. Well, hopefully the right person's listening.
Well, I've been to Bakersfield once. I was there for last year's finale for the Central California Clash. I've driven through there a lot on my way to Arizona, going over 58 through Tehachapi Pass and seeing all the windmill generated energy deals and all that stuff. But for you, what are some cool things that you would recommend to people that have never been to Bakersfield before? I mean, there's got to be some cool stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I pretty much just live, breathe racing. So anything I do is racing. But I mean, you have like MB2. They have those little go-karts there. They have arcades and stuff for kids. You got Davenport Street. You got. It's such a good place to live, even though a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with that, because you're 2 hours away from LA. Anything you want to go do in LA, 4 hours from San Diego, 2 hours from the beach, 4 hours from Vegas. What else do we? The mountains, you can go hiking in Sequoias.
Yeah,
like we're right in the middle of everything. And so, I mean, it's a really good place to live. Plus, you don't get the politics from Los Angeles or San Francisco or up north. So, you know, it's like a hidden gem in California. If you're going to live in California, I would say that this is a good spot to be.
And the weather's really good. I mean, it gets a little foggy sometimes, like when it gets cold, but like, I mean, it gets, if you like the heat, it can get warm.
Yeah, it's about to be warm. I was just out in the garage for most of the night trying to beat the heat because I think it's supposed to be like 104 on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm like, all right, let's get everything done as early as possible. So yeah, it says 108 on Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was like, and it's 86 out there for the day. So
sure.
I was trying to get as much done on the car as I can, but we still got at least another day or two out there to get ready for Tulare this weekend.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder. So that's a good policy. So, yeah, well, that's super, super awesome. And then, I mean, you said that you pretty much eat, breathe, sleep racing. But I mean, for you, personal time, like passing the time, anything else? Like, do you like to go hiking, or do you like to go golfing, or just hang out by the rivers, or anything like that?
No, I'm not much for sitting still too much, like fishing, golfing. None of that slow pace stuff. I can't do it. I'd rather sit on the couch and fall asleep or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like to stay busy. If I'm not, I'll watch hockey, basketball, football, whatever.
Sure.
I'm a big sports buff, so I like my sports. So I don't mind sitting on the couch and watching some TV. But a lot of times I'll put the TV on in the garage, and even if there's nothing to do, I'll tinker on something and kind of just watch some TV. But other than that, we pretty much plan our whole lives around going to the tracks most weekends.
Well, Bakersfield, they did or they do? Do they still have a minor league hockey team?
They do. They do. They have an AHL team called the Bakersfield Condors.
Okay.
They're the affiliate of the Oilers.
Oh, hey, that's my team. Connor McDavid and the Oilers. Edmonton's my Canadian adopted home. So, yeah.
There you go. See,
hey.
Now there's a reason to come to Bakersfield. That's another thing we do in Bakersfield. We enjoy going to hockey games, too.
Nice. Something that I always enjoy when I'm driving down the 5 or if I'm having to go down 99 or whatever is looking at, like, just the oil wells going up and down, up and down. I mean, and something that's really cool about Bakersfield, again, like I haven't spent a whole lot of time there. I've ate at the McDonald's like 3 times and, I've went to the track once, but, the people that I've met there remind me of people like from the American South, like the Southeast. It seems more like a Southern town than it is like a quote unquote West Coast, it's definitely not a surfer town, kind of thing that people would think, oh, California, palm trees and limousines. It's like, these guys are like hardworking, kind of Southern boys reminds me of.
Yep. And the city goes as all them oil rigs go. I mean, if they're doing good, then the city's doing good.
Sure.
If oil's doing bad, then a lot of people are doing bad, and a lot of racers around here rely on the oil side, for work and stuff. So, when oil's good, we get a lot of cars at the track. If oil's doing bad, then car count starts to suffer, and everybody starts to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, and technically, the track Bakersfield Speedway is in Oildale, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. There you go. The Valley of Oil. So, but
yeah.
Well, this has been great. A great conversation, getting to know you, Dylan. As we wrap things up, I know that to do all of this, it takes a lot of time, effort, and money. And you've mentioned some people that have helped you out along the way, but I'd like to give you the platform again to thank those people once more, or also just acknowledge some of the sponsors that you have lined up that have been helping you make all this possible and to have a really good race season so far, so early in 2024.
Yeah, there's always, a village that helps anybody race. So I got to thank my wife first and foremost. She's never once mentioned the words, well, then sell that damn race car or anything like that. She always supports me, even on bad nights like Saturday. It's very, very expensive, really, really quick, and just okay, let's do what we got to do to get the car ready. So very supportive, and I'm very, very happy for that. And my kids, obviously, my mom, everybody that helps me out. Ryan, I have my shop guy, Ryan. He's been a godsend since he started to help me on my shop program, and he wants me to do better than I want for myself, which is really hard to find in the racing world. So thank you with Ryan and ML Performance, who originally built my shop, who still helps me with any questions I had. Matt over there, Chris Friesen, Beatrice Speedway cars, all of them. He built a badass car. He's really helpful if you ever need anything. Called him this morning to get some get a new nose side piece belt, get an A-arm put together, and he had it all done within a couple hours for me to pick up, so I can throw it on the car for tonight. And I just feel like I'm already missing anybody, but Nick Kaufman with Kaufman Racing Graphics, Jim Emery, Howard Weaver, all the people that helped put the Kool-Aid car wrap to life. There was 3 people involved in that deal, so thank you to everybody involved in that. I think that's it. I mean, it's a small team, but I mean, we do pretty well, and I just can't thank everybody that's ever tried to help me or answered any question I've had over the years. It helps make the trial and error part a lot easier. So if I miss anybody, I'm sorry, but thank you to everybody. Thank you to IMCA and all the people involved over there, and for everything that they do for us to give us a place to race and stuff, and a sanction to race under, and keep everybody in line somewhat.
Well, it's been great to get to know you further, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season goes. And best of luck at Tulare with the Central California Clash.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview as well.
Well, race fans, that does it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you continue to enjoy these upcoming interviews. We appreciate it if you would like and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it's at. Give us a like and give us a subscription so that we can deliver more of these great interviews to you for your listening pleasure. In the meantime, wherever we're at, wherever you're listening, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a pleasant evening, and we will see you soon here at Highside Racing Promotions. Before we let everybody go, here's the upcoming schedule on IMCA TV of live pay-per-view events. Thursday, June 6th, a pair of bouts, Williston Basin Speedway in North Dakota for the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, and Kossuth County Speedway in Algona, Iowa. Friday night, we'll have a full card of action, Davenport Speedway in Iowa, along with Hancock County Speedway in Britt, Iowa, Dacotah Speedway in Mandan, North Dakota, Beatrice Speedway in Nebraska, Black Hills Speedway in Rapid City, South Dakota. Estevan Motor Speedway will take things north of the border as they will host the Tougher Than Dirt Tour on Friday night. It'll be a full card of racing on Saturday, June 8th, Crystal Motor Speedway in Michigan. In Iowa, Dacotah Speedway, Eagle Raceway in Nebraska, Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington, Boone Speedway in Iowa returns, along with Shelby County Speedway in Harlan, Iowa, Southern Oklahoma Speedway in Ardmore, Thunder Mountain Speedway in Bottineau, North Dakota will host the Robbie Conway Memorial with the Tougher Than Dirt Tour, Arlington Raceway in Minnesota, Electric City Speedway in Great Falls, Montana, Thunderbolt Raceway for the Central California Clash in Tulare, California. And Sunday night will feature a full night of action. Interstate Speedway in Jefferson, South Dakota. Redwood Speedway in Redwood Falls, Minnesota. Dubuque Fairgrounds Speedway in Iowa. Benton County Speedway in Benton, Iowa. Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon, Minnesota. And Nodak Speedway in Minot, North Dakota for the Tougher Than Dirt Tour. And kicking the week off will be the Monday Madness on the 10th of June at Independence Motor Speedway in Iowa.